So the back foot can back step to back step, front step to front step, back foot kick here, back foot kick here to avoid the rush. Well, the whole point of that backside, that neutral foot, the instep, when we're throwing the football, the instep of your right foot and the inside here is going to allow you to drive the ball forward or drive the ball back. It all starts with your neutral foot, not your core, not your elbow, not your shoulder. Because my point is this: if this foot is over here and you're trying to throw it over here, you're going to be way off balance, right? So everything starts with your neutral foot on throwing the football. Now, I could be wrong on this, but I've never been told. I'm a firm believer that we should never step more than 6 inches at a time. Doesn't matter if we're striding, right? If I'm striding, 6 inches. 6 inches, right? If I'm trying to avoid the rush, 6 inches. If I'm trying to avoid the rush, 6 inches. What I tell my kids, you see a lot of people doing like bag drills and stuff like that, jumping over bags. That's wasted movement, coaches. Wasted movement. Because let me tell you something. All I need to throw the football is to step with my back foot 6 inches. Back front foot 6 inches. And I can still drive the ball. Right? All this bag stuff and running over bags and hopping over bags, that stuff's for the birds. That's 5-10 years ago. That's 5-10 years ago. You need 6 inches. You need 6 inches. Boom, I can drive the ball. Boom, I can drive the ball. Right? 6 inches. That's what I can do. I only need this far to throw the football. Because, again, when you're avoiding that, because we talk about that inside step, that's what's important. Now, when we talk about our follow through and all that stuff, that's all your core. Now, there are two things that I can coach before you even talk about your follow through and your arm and all that stuff. Two things. We talk about inside step. The second thing is your off shoulder. Very few coaches, probably coach who won the state championship, probably coaches off shoulder too. I'm a big believer in putting your towel underneath your shoulder, right? Coach the off shoulder, coaches. We all want to talk about the follow through. We all want to talk about the follow through, and we want to talk about, well, your elbow's here, your arm's here, it's out of the place, it's messed up. Those off shoulder. Because as soon as, the more you go, it's like shooting a free throw, right? If you're shooting a free throw, everything you do should be going forward towards the basket. If this guy is here, this off shoulder comes here, the more the body's going to go there, right? So two things we told a coach: inside step, get the foot plant, boom, shoulder here, drive, tight. Everything should be tight here to here. Now, when we coach our kids, we talk about camera angles. Camera angle 1, camera angle 2, and camera angle 3. Pretty simple. Camera angle 1, camera angle 2, flat, camera angle 3, and follow through. That's all it is. Camera angle 1, camera angle 2, everything should be straight towards the body, and then camera angle 3 should be your follow through. And if you do all three of those things, I don't know if you're going to throw a spiral or not, but I can guarantee you're going to throw the ball straight. And that's all that I care about. I don't care if you throw perfect spirals. I care if you throw the ball straight. Spirals are overrated. Peyton Manning said a quote one time that he believed that he only threw about 30% spirals in the NFL. Spirals are overrated. Completions are what's important, right? So, boom, inside step, off shoulder, camera angle 1 to 2 to 3. Close it out. The movie's done. That's pretty simple, right? So when we talk about our mechanics and throwing the ball and drills and so on and so forth, once we get into that, we talk about our grip, right? Coaches get into grip and all that stuff. And I know you guys know all this, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on this. With daylight, right? We get daylight on our grip. Make sure you can see through that. Now, where the kids' hands are, this goes back into how big the quarterback's hands are. I'm a big believer, second lace. But if your hand's really big, the NFL guys, they put it right in the middle And if a kid has really small hands, maybe the back lace, right? Maybe the back lace. But definitely look at the kid's grip as he's throwing the ball. Especially our younger kids, like our freshmen and sophomores, our younger kids, look at the grip. Now, I will say this before we jump into drill work and all that. I can show you mechanics and drills and stuff like that, but you guys have seen all those. What I want you guys to understand, and before we get really into this talk, and I'll answer questions if you have questions. When it comes to drills, Everybody knows a 3-step drop, 1, 2, 3, plant and drive, 5-step drop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plant and drive. Everybody knows those drills. We do things that are game-like situations, okay? We do a thing called cardio QB. Cardio QB, we put 5 balls down on the ground. They run up, they grab a ball, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plant, and there's a decision. The coach points it away, and that kid has to read the point, right? Everything we do, we try to teach a decision for a quarterback. I think standing there and going 1, 2, 3 and point and just throwing the ball is a waste of time. In the end, teaching kids to make decisions is what playing quarterback's about. The 3-step drop is as important as paper. The decision is what's important, right? Does that make sense? Like if people say, well, it doesn't matter. The decision's what's important. The 3-step drop is not important. And our shotgun football, shotgun footwork. I get asked all the time about shotgun footwork. I teach kids this. Y'all know what you guys teach? I teach spin, left, right, drive. Every time. It doesn't matter if it's left side of the field or right side of the field. Spin, left foot, right foot, drive. I don't teach drops out of the gun. I teach left foot, right foot, drive. Right? Because it doesn't matter. Now our shotgun football with a run game, you can do left foot, right foot, drive. Or left foot, right foot, handoff. Right? Shotgun, left foot, right foot, boom. That way it's the exact same thing on a throw that's not a deep throw, right? Not anything over 10 to 12 yards. But a run game or a pass game, I teach left, right foot drive. Okay? But again, this footwork means absolutely nothing. The decision means everything. So we do things like windows and trees. Who knows that drill? Anybody know that drill? Windows and trees? Okay? Windows, for instance, is you have five guys stand. Guy runs behind them. Boom, drive. Wait till you see a window. These guys step 1 foot one way, step 1 foot the other way. They close and open windows, right? So as that guy's running behind the windows, step one way, step another way. That's how we create the windows and trees. The trees are the guys standing there. So you get this drop, boom, left foot, right foot. That guy runs behind the 5 guys, right? As soon as they step one way or they step the other way, we close the window, open a window. So as we're working on our left foot, right foot drive, we're reading the windows. Because the footwork and all that stuff doesn't mean a darn thing. The decision is what means everything. Now, I could be wrong on that, but I tell people all the time, you never get your name in the paper for a beautiful drop. We get caught up in that stuff. Oh man, his ball's too low, or his ball placement's not where we want it to be. It's not back shoulder. It's not right there in the deodorant stick. It's not this beautiful blah 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 blah. None of that shit matters. None of it matters, right? What matters is the decision. Did he read the backside post? Did he throw the comeback instead of the curl? That's what matters. Right? So what we don't understand is we do all these drills with our quarterbacks that are strictly based on throwing mechanics. They're not based on decision making. So why not put 2 guys in the middle and put a linebacker or whatever in the middle and have him drop? And every time he does a drop, read the guy. It should be in every drill that we do as quarterbacks. Every drill. Because that's what's going to take that guy from being a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1 to a 3-to-1. We do a drill, we call it a square drill, and this is a fantastic drill. We call it a square drill. And I put cones, the internet's kind of jacked up, but if you can imagine this, it's a square drill. And I put a guy right here in the middle of the square, I put a quarterback over here. And we label the cones. And we'll say 4, or 3, or 2, or 1, or whatever. We'll say 4, 3, or 2, or 1. And what we do is, the guy here in the middle goes to whatever cone he wants to. Doesn't matter. What I want the quarterback to do is look to 4 and then throw to where the guy goes. To train him from reading from the read, right? Like, so I say 4 on the square, the guy gets his eyes, takes his eyes to 4, and then finds the guy on the other guy. Does that make sense? Where he goes opposite the number. So if I say 3, he's going to go 1. The quarterback's eyes are going to 3 on the square, and then the other guy inside the corner might go to 2, or might go to 1. Does that make sense? I wish I had like a dry erase board. It's a great drill to teach the kids. It's a great drill to teach the kids on how to read first. Because what happens to my kids, how many times in our quarterbacks do we get stuck on read 1? But we never train the eyes to go past read 1. We get mad at them because they don't go past read 1. So what I do is I'll say, okay, boom, 1, 2, 3, whatever, 4. And then his eyes need to go to 4 in the cone. And in the square, then the guy inside the square will go to 3 or go to 2, anything but 4, so I can teach him to read his eyes on 4 on the first read and then come back to where the receiver is. Does that make sense? Any questions on that drill specifically? It's a great drill. If you don't know what to call it the square drill, it's probably the best drill that we do. Go ahead, Coach. 7, probably. 7, 7, 7, and 7. Because what I do then, again, that teaches the kid, read 4, his eyes have to go to 4, then I get him to come off. That's a great question. But it's the best drill that we do, in my opinion. It's the best drill that we do. Again, let's talk about combination routes and stuff like that, right? Practice decision making and combination routes. Put guys out there. If you got a smash corner, put a guy out there in between. In your drills, when you're working on your footwork, put a guy out there to stand and say, okay, and you don't even have to throw the ball to the guy. Just have the linebacker or the corner or whatever, stand there and have him walk one way or walk the other way as the guy's working on his footwork or his throwing mechanics. Decisions are what matters, right? Decisions are what matters. Because all we got to do is we got to train the quarterback's eyes. We got to train the quarterback's eyes to make completions. And we don't train quarterbacks to get off read 1. We don't. Because in practice, what we do is we train these kids. We're going to warm up. Guy runs a slant. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. Slant. Oh, God, he looks good. He touchdown. You know, we're all looking good. Next warm up. Okay, boom. Here comes the guy. Man, he's looking good in warm ups. Right? And that's all we do. We train these kids to go 1, 2, 3, and they're rhythm throwers. They're rhythm throwers. We don't ever train them to go 1, 2, 3, pause, hitch, come off 1, come to 2. Like that's not a natural mechanic, right? I do a whistle drill. I'll teach you this. I do a whistle drill. We do 3, 5, 3, and what I mean by that is this: we go tweet 1, 2, 3, pause, tweet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause. And then whichever way you want to go. If you want to go 3 more, if you want to go kick step, slide step, whichever way you want to do. Right? So I do what we call a whistle drill. It's a 3, 5, 3 or 3, 5 kick step or whatever. 3, boom, 1, 2, 3. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. And get the kids to pause. It's not rhythm throwing. Rhythm throwing is that stuff is 5 years ago. Because what we have to teach is decisions. And so, yeah, is that first reads open? Yeah, that's great. That's easy to do. The 1, 2, 3 in the slant, that's an easy thing to do. Our high school kids and college kids, like I just got called, this kid named Tyler Ferguson, who was a backup quarterback at Western Kentucky. I'm going to start training him before the draft and the CFL and all that stuff. And one of the things that we're struggling with is his balance after he takes the drops. He's struggling with this balance, right? He gets here, and he naturally wants to go which way? Forward. But if you remember we talked about at the very beginning, what's our back foot? Neutral, right? So once you get here, you should be neutral, not going forward because you don't know which way you're going. Because if that guy's not open, so then what do our kids do? Our high school kids naturally go 1, 2, 3, plant, and then they want to throw the ball, right? And so that's when they make bad decisions because they're naturally going 1, 2, 3, plant, and throwing the ball. And that's just my opinion. I don't know everything there is, but it makes sense to me. Is that we teach these kids every single time we warm up, and all it is boom, okay, boom, throw, boom, throw. And we don't ever teach on mechanics. We don't ever teach decisions. We all want to teach how to throw the ball and make sure the ball spirals and looks pretty. We don't want to teach decision making. In the mechanic, we want to talk, we want to get it down on the board and say, okay, let's say your kid's name's Andrew. Okay, Andrew, well, on the board, if you know this guy goes here and the safety comes over top, we're going to throw the bender up the middle of the field. We want him to know all that. But yet, we don't really want to practice any of it. Never want to practice any of it. And so that is where I try to come in. I get asked all the time by high schools to come in and work with their kids for 2 hours, hour and a half, 3 hours. Anybody wants me to come work. I'm not worried about money. I love the game of football. I'll come and work with your kids for 2 hours in an afternoon, Saturday afternoon, a Sunday, whatever. I'd love to. All you do is call me up and say, hey, will you come work with our quarterbacks? I'd be happy to do so. But that's where I think that we're a little bit different in our teaching, is that we don't really necessarily teach all of the mechanics of throwing. We want the kids to learn that the decision is what the most important piece. Now, what questions do you guys have? Because I had some other stuff we can go over in just a minute, but you might have any questions specifically about what we just talked about, drills or anything that I've discussed so far? Any questions? Okay. I will show you this. I think this is a great resource. We did this. You can shut that.